Okay, so we're officially starting Magpie. This is our sprint one. It'll span about 2 weeks, ending on the 15th of September, just right before ONOS build. I think a bunch of folks will be off at ONOS build, but one thing we could do is keep the epics or the sprints open for the folks who are still working on the stories. So let's get started on the story. So we'll start with platform. Jordan?
So I only have one task here. So one of the big tasks for the next release is continuing to move some of the distributed systems in ONOS into Atomic. So I had a task to sort of begin more of that work, which is to move the primitives into Atomic. This doesn't really, the plan isn't really to replace primitives in ONOS yet, but it's just to copy them over to Atomic so we can begin to get them stable. And then later on in the release, perhaps we'll revisit whether we should start removing code from ONOS or not.
Okay. And it looks like Pierre had added a couple of stories. Implement policer abstraction and add rate limit constraint as part of northbound. And then GUI, Stephen or Simon?
Yeah, Stephen's not available to make the meeting. Yeah, so for this one, I think the focus is working on some missing detail panels for some of the views. Stephen's going to be working on some of the topology 2 stuff. For this sprint, or at least the release, Stephen would like to try putting a backlog without assigning anything and have folks in the GUI brigade just pick them off the top, kind of stepping a little more towards the agile model. So we're going to experiment with that this sprint and see how that works.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Simon. Localization?
Yeah, for localization, looks like Andrea's set himself the task of completing the Italian localization for what we have before the ONOS build. And then we've also got Simon from Poland, I think, is joining up with the UI brigade, but we thought a good introduction for him would be to work on the internationalization of the flows view. So we've signed him up for that one.
Okay, thanks, Simon. Looks like nothing for the virtualization brigade. And then dynamic config, Utah.
So I'm not sure if this, I'm pretty sure this doesn't cover every activity, but this is mainly about trying to make the config synchronous talk to the actual netconf devices. The first ticket is about coming up with an emulator, and others is investigating the issue we hit so far. That's about it.
Okay, thanks, Utah. Packet optical, Mark?
Not here. He's not here, but yeah, basically sort of similar to that the previous one. Dynamic config now has RPC support, so we will try to see if the overall RPCs can be mapped to that mechanics, and then so on. That will be something Mark will be exploring.
Okay, thanks, Utah. Nothing from the OpenStack integration folks. gRPC? No, Jen. So I think the plan for the brigade is to continue to create Method services. I think a bunch of these are also in review, add unit testing, and a component config service. And then nothing for the build and package infrastructure brigade. P4, Carmela?
Yes. Okay. So for this sprint, me and Andrea will focus mostly on creating material for ONOS build and the P4 brigade work days. we have a tutorial and presentation at ONOS Build about before supporting ONOS. In terms of coding, I will be focusing on finalizing the implementation of the demo application for PI support, the CMP application, and I'm also working to add support for reading flow table pointers. And Andrea is working to extend the group provider in order to be able to retrieve the install groups on the device. And I don't know if he is there and he wants to comment on his stories, or I can do it for him. Is he there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to working on the action groups of action profile support, and also the pipeliner, because I think we can support the flow objectives for default pipeline, and also the UI stuff. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Carmelo. Yeah. ISSU, Jordan?
So for ISSU, I'm going to be continuing to work on documenting the ISSU process. So partly this will be used for ONOS Build, and partly we're going to, so we have some people interested in the ISSU Brigade now, and we're going to use that documentation to create tasks and a more detailed plan for the next few sprints. And then just additional tasks for setting up Google Group, Wiki, and Slack channel for the Brigade, and getting that whole ball rolling.
Okay, thanks, Jordan. QA?
Okay, so we have a couple of tasks. The first one is basically to create a way to test ISSU using our system tests. But ideally, we could kind of plug that into any of our other tests. The next one is, next two are continuing up refactoring how we are graphing our test results. So we're moving away from the previous ways we're doing that we're using R now. It just gives us better control and it allows us to visualize things slightly differently. And then as part of that, we're finishing up moving all of our Jenkins jobs from the classic Jenkins style to pipelines. Jenkins files. And there's a technical version for the white paper that Yo and Teacher are working on. And last one is in response to a bug that we saw, and which is just adding checks for the RAF log size to our system tests.
Okay, thanks, John. I think the big reminder here is what the P4 Brigade has noted, right? Work that you have for ONOS Build, it would be good to capture those just to make sure that the work tasks are balanced for this sprint. So for folks who are presenting or doing any work days, it would be good to make sure that those are captured. Okay, and then the sprint review, I think, will be on the 14th instead. I think some folks will be flying out early for ONOS Build. So we'll try to do the review on the 14th instead and just try to get that wrapped up. Okay. Anything else people want to cover besides Carmelo's typing? Okay, I think that's it. This is a quick planning session. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Ian.
Bye.
Bye.